Hey, what up, my people? What's up? How you feeling? How you feeling, man? I appreciate y'all for being here. I have a good amount of announcements to make during this intro. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pop a timestamp somewhere in the video. That way you can go ahead and skip straight to the story from the beginning. But if you want to stay and hear what I got to say, I appreciate you, my guy. If you don't, I still appreciate you, my guy or my girl. First off, I want to get into the content question of the day. And my bad I ain't replied to you. I'm moving so much. I'm getting these t-shirts ready to go. Still editing stories, still recording stories, dealing with the kids. You know, bro, I'm like this. But I love this shit. Like, you don't even understand how much I love this shit. It's a rush to me, bro. I love the grind. Content question of the day comes from Teacher Stringfield. How do I feel about people who have to take meds for real illness? I respect that wholeheartedly. You can't function in life without these meds, whether that be oxy or some other ish. If there's no alternative, or if you just ain't got enough support from people around you that's gonna do it for you, or do the research, or go here and go there. Like, sometimes, bro, you gotta go certain places to get certain things. So nah, yeah, teacher, I respect that. But it's like a catch-22. Because I done heard so many horror stories. And I mean so many horror stories of people who got in car accidents, who got shot to where they needed this medicine, and now they hooked on it. You know the whole trickle-down effect. I ain't gotta explain it to you. But that's the catch-22. Not to say that it's wrong. Not to say that it's still wrong. I still rather you take it and be functional. I would just say know what you're getting into. I feel like doctors should be required to keep all the way 100 with their patients. No matter how small of a dosage, high of a dosage, bad of an injury, they should be required to keep it real.
Hey, look, man, no matter when you start, how much you take, you could end up hooked up on these. You could end up with in your arm one day if you start these. But you need them. But I'm trying to let you know something. Pace yourself.
They tell you, but they don't. That doctor lingo. Be careful. Do what you gotta do, but be careful. I don't wish what I went through on my worst enemy. Honestly, I don't wish what most of my supporters went through on my worst enemy. Because I still feel like, because I haven't went far as to touching the those are the people who went through more than me. I don't know how that feel. I can only imagine. Some people tell me that both are the same, it's the same feeling. I don't believe that, bro. I feel like they went through more. A lot of y'all told me y'all stories, and I feel for y'all. And you can hit me back on a reply on IG, or just go in the comments and tell me how you feel about it. And if anybody got any questions you want me to answer on the next upload, in all caps, I want you to type content question in parentheses. Do your question under it, and that way that lets me know, hey, this is a question that somebody wants me to answer. But I'm only doing one question a video. I appreciate you, teacher, and I appreciate you supporting the channel. Now, gotta shout out them members. Shout out Ghost, aka It's Daniel, becoming a survivor. Shout out, Lord, I'm about to butcher this name, Kamarion Fortney, a new lieutenant. Shout out Ken Mac, Oakland Street Tales, another survivor. Last but not least, shout out to Just Tamox, charging up to that survivor membership. Now, I know I only been posting one story a week. That's for a reason. We ain't got to get into it. You know why. I done spoke on it 400 or 500 times by now. But this is the last story from the survivor membership that I can post. I have no more after that. If you're late to the channel, if you just joined the channel, you'll know what I'm talking about. The survivor membership that I got, I give you 3 stories in one video, and it's going to be at least 45 minutes to an hour. So what I do is, every single week, I take one story out of that whole video and I post it to the public, which may be 15 minutes or 20 minutes. But if you want to see all 3 stories all at once, join the membership, you can see all the stories. But by now, all the stories are already in the public now, one by one. So if you haven't joined it yet, don't join it until I post some new shit. I'm for real. Like, I know that sound crazy, but don't join it until you'll know when I post something new. You feel me? You'll know. Now, is y'all ready? That was a lot, but it's okay. Is y'all ready? And without further ado, let's get into it. I go by DJ, but you can call me D. So I go extra hard on that hard flow. Call me D. Now, after a whole 7 years behind bars, Megan was ready for a fresh start, and her first goal on the list, regain custody of her 2 children who were in foster care. But before she did that, it was a long list of things she had to accomplish first. She went to visit her PO and was glad she didn't have a stickler for the rules type of guy. She had a reasonable white woman, not much older than her, Mrs. Lockett. Megan, a short, dark-skinned single mother of 2, sporting some dreadlocks, thought she might treat her differently. But Mrs. Lockett could care less for her skin color. But she did have to find a job, and quick. And so she did, working for a company called Tyson's, a place that welcomes felons for a government grant or a payout. She had a close family member who would let her rent out an extra room in the basement. Built like its own apartment, it wasn't bad considering her circumstances. And all she needed was transportation. And that wasn't hard to find. She woke up the next morning to find a key fob on a desk next to where she slept on the top of a note that read, "I believe in you, cuz. Now you gotta believe in you too. The car's in the backyard. Love, Mika." And Megan, she excited. She runs out the door connected to the basement, and there she was, a 2014 black Honda Accord. Megan never cared for luxury things, and even though the car wasn't an up-to-date model, it felt brand new to her. Everything was falling back into place like she wanted, without having to look over her shoulder, nothing of the sorts this time. Now she would end up reconnecting with her co-defendant, baby daddy, and her partner in crime, Desmond, a month later after she was released. Still having strong feelings for this guy, she would do anything that he asked. So it wasn't long before she started taking trips back and forth to visit him in prison, doing a 15-year bid for the same charges as Megan, but because she was only the driver in said situation, she only got a little over half the time that he did. After some small talk, reminiscing, all the good times they had during their robbery spree, Desmond said he got another job for her. Megan went silent for a second, feeling this was all the rules for what he really wanted from her. After all, they were apart from each other for 7 years, and people can change in such a long period of time now. She said that she's trying to go straight, didn't want anything to do with the criminal element whatsoever. But Desmond ain't going for none, thinking she just ain't got enough motivation. He used a little tactic that he once used before to get her involved in one of his crazy but lucrative schemes. Hey, how much you making at that factory? 20 an hour? After 4 days of work, you take home what? 140 after taxes? I can get you your whole check in a day. Shit, maybe more. Megan thought about the offer, even though making upwards to about $750 a week would be considered a good amount of money at the time. And she knew that this way would prepare her quicker to her goal than having to save up every week. She still had to eat every day, pay rent for her room every month, and put gas in her car, which is going to be 3 times as much taking long trips back and forth. She told Desmond she was going to think about it and to call her tomorrow when he gets a chance. But he gives her a burner number to a cell phone that he had in prison, saying to hit him back with an answer when she was ready, but gave her specific times when to call and when not, but told her she could send a text at any time of the day. She sat back thinking that night about everything she's blessed with at the moment, thinking about how good this could be for her, and how very wrong this could go also. She weighed her pros, her cons, unlike before she went to prison, and she landed on a crossroads. Every time she thought about her children in foster care, she had a 7-year-old son whom she's never held a conversation with, an 11-year-old son who she left barely remembering her, leaving him months after his 4th birthday. She get in touch with her caseworker, wondering about visiting her kids and what was going to be required to gain custody of them once again. And aside from having a stable home with enough space for him, she needed to be drug-free and able to hold a job for at least 6 months. She was pretty much halfway there, only having to get a bigger place for them to live. She refused to go back to any Section 8 housing areas, and she knew she couldn't bring them to her cousin's house. Even if CPS sought it to be acceptable, she knew Big Cuz would turn it down. And after visiting her kids, that was the battery she needed to throw in her back. And Desmond was happy to hear the news, to say the least. That next week, they ran down the plan to the smallest detail, accounting for Megan's work schedule, doing drops at times when specific guards were working the day shift, never working on Tuesdays and Thursdays because highway patrol was a little more high tense than the other days of the week. Even went far as to dressing down as a college kid, slapping bumper stickers all over the car to look like a student on their way to the city if she was ever pulled over. Now Megan, she was overconfident, ready to take on this mission with her old partner for one last run. Now it's the weekend, and she goes to meet up with a guy Desmond had in place to pass off a package to Megan, and she never even thought to ask what she was moving or transporting. Before she grabbed a rectangular sized package wrapped in plastic, she told the guy to hold on while she made a quick call, not knowing that made this dude a little antsy and suspicious of her. She turned her back, walking toward her car, hoping Desmond picked up the call, and he did. Not wanting to waste time, she came straight out with it.
Desmond, you never told me what I was bringing. What the hell is this?
And Desmond thought she had a sudden case of the cold feet with these questions and hold-ups, telling her, what does it matter? You only picking up and dropping off anyway. But she pressed Desmond, asking him,
what the is this? Oh, I'm done, nigga.
Desmond goes quiet. He then told her it was just tobacco, some lighters, and some boxing strips. And she told him from here on out to be honest, no secrets or bull between them because it's her life on the line this time. Saying getting caught could kill her chances of getting their kids out of child protective services. He smartened up after that. Even if he didn't care about anything she said, she was his for sure chance of getting this contraband on the inside. She walks back over to the guy with this menace of a face expression, already having the package ready to hand it over to her. He gripped the package, not letting her take it the moment she grabbed for it.
When we meet up, we pass the work and we leave. You can't do that? Take your black ass back in the house. If it weren't for Rocco, I would've told your green ass to kick rocks.
He finally let go the package and walked off, leaving Megan confused. Who the fuck is Rocco? Thinking maybe it's a nickname Desmond got on the inside. Either way, his threats didn't move her at all, not knowing she just finished doing hard time herself. She made her way a full 6 hours up the road to make this play. Now as directed, she would park on the side of the road and lift her hood as if she was having car trouble. The only problem she had with that is a cop patrolling stops and wants to help her out. So she improvised and brung along a spare tire. Being in prison, she picked up a few things so she knew her way around a car more than most dudes. In the middle of screwing on a spare, a cop would drive past. It made Megan's heart skip a beat, but like she expected, he slowed down, nodded, and kept it pushing. And that was the perfect moment. She jumped out the car, turned on the hazard lights, and made her way off the road. 100 feet from the prison entrance, she threw the package into a ditch, wrapped in a plastic bag made to look like trash. Desmond had it set up to where when prisoners went out on cleaning duty, he had a guy on the inside who would know about this package too. And because janitors wasn't checked as often as the regular prisoners, he would literally walk it right to his cell. Now, with it already being broad daylight, being caught coming from this spot was already suspicious, but being caught running was a dead giveaway. She stayed calm, made her way back to the car, and it was smooth. No car as far as the eye could see, so she was home free. All she had to do is stay awake for another 6 hours going back home. Now by the time she was walking through the basement door of her room, there was that Cash App notification that we all know too well. She saw more than what she make in a week working at Tyson's Chicken, just as Desmond said. Now on a few occasions, they would change the drop spot to a house that was under construction. She would throw the package under a bunch of 2x4s and debris, let it camouflage into whatever was on the ground at the time. And same as the other time, prisoners, they would come out for a cleanup and pick it up. Now this goes smoothly for months, doing this job at least once a week, and she was making bank. Wasn't always a lot. Sometimes it was only $500, sometimes $30, sometimes $1,500. But when you added everything up, it definitely made sense in the end. Between work, taking trips, catching up on rest, she never really had a chance to spend. She took some time off of work to give herself a well-needed break, but she also took a look at a few 3-bedroom apartments. She finds one she wants and puts down a down payment. Everything is honey right now. Grass is green. The money is plentiful. Desmond shoots her a text about another drop. Same spot, same time. Cool. So that next day, she wakes up with fear in her chest for no real reason. No nightmares, no heads up texts from Desmond, just this deep feeling in her stomach. But she makes her way like any other drop day. 30 minutes into the drive, she gets a call from Desmond's mother. She want her to come see her ASAP, not knowing how she even knew her number or what the hell she wanted, because she never liked Megan since before Desmond was incarcerated. Actually used to say that Megan girl was trouble. Used to blame Megan for the reason he was locked up in the first place. When she gets to her home, there she was, sitting in the dining room table, looking worried. Desmond's mother welcomed her inside, saying she spoke with Rocco's mother. Now, she's thinking to herself, there's that fucking name again. She played it off as if she never heard that name, saying, if you don't mind me asking, but who is Rocco? Desmond's mother is looking at Megan, shocked at her question. And she looks like, what? Like, what's going on? And his mother dropped a bomb that she never saw coming. And she goes on to tell her son and Rocco are together. She knew what she meant but she purposely wanted her to clarify her words by asking again. And yes, it was true. In clear terms, Desmond was Rocco's bottom, his punk, his lover on the inside, and she was disgusted. Desmond's mother wanted to make Megan aware of what was going on because she just felt in her heart there was something deeper to the story, but also to not expose her to nothing that Desmond may bring back home to her. So this way she could move on, to stop riding for a man who was clearly riding for someone else. Now Megan hurt, but more so disappointed that she thought her man was still a man. She still would make the drop, and 30 minutes away from the spot, she gets that feeling again, right in the pit of her stomach, and it won't budging. She tries to call Desmond, but he won't answer. Send her a text, no text back. He always specified where to put the package, but he would let her know at least an hour or 30 minutes before she was up there, but he was not answering. So she threw it by the house under the construction and bounced, saying the man or the money ain't worth her freedom. This was the last time she was doing this. She's an hour into taking her 6-hour trip back home, and she got a late text from Desmond reading, "Tore off. A code for the package was found," or somebody talked. The feeling from the time that she woke up to his mother calling her to now the pack being tore off, it made her feel like the luckiest person on earth. She didn't care what happened to him after. She cut off all communication he had with her before she left the prison. She ignored the text and blocked the number. Driving into the city, she got a call from the caseworker about her children, and it was all good news. In the next couple months, she'll have her kids and her apartment, so things were still looking good aside from the extra money she was making. Altogether, she came out with over $10K, not including the money that would have been sent had not the pack was caught out. She went into her Cash App just to check if they sent it before it happened already, but nothing. She paid Big Cuzzle some extra, plus rent for looking out for her since she got out, and she would use the rest to open up a college fund for both her kids. After a few days of the normal rustle and bustle back and forth to work, she thought about the things Desmond promised her, how they would get married, have more babies, even had phone sex a few times, but to think it was all a play to use her hurt her feelings a great deal. Reality really didn't kick in when she first found out, but what the hell does she tell the kids? How does she explain that their dad being took by another man is the reason he's not checking in or calling normally? She unblocked the number because she wanted real answers. She never brung it up because in her mind they were already done. But as soon as she did, she got an angry text from him. "Bitch, you ghosting me? Answer the phone. You trying to get me killed?" Now the message didn't make sense to her. From what his mom says, they were lovers. She calls him immediately, concerned for him, and he picks up on the first ring. "Damn, boo, what the fuck happened to you? I need you again in a few days." His mother didn't tell him that she told Megan. He was totally oblivious to what she knew. She asked him what he meant by killed and if he's okay. He just says not to worry about that. If she bring the pack, then he's good. But she done with that bullshit. So she blows the whistle, goes on to tell him, "Your mom told me everything. Desmond, I know you fucking another man in there, and you actually planned on sticking that shit in me when you got out. You have 2 boys who need a father, not a fucking punk. Tell me the fucking truth right now." She fully expected him to lash out like he always did when she spoke that way, but she got nothing. Desmond never responded, so calm. She could hear noises through the phone like he was moving around with the phone in his pocket. When he got back on the phone, she heard the cry through his voice. The fear, the utter terror he's been going through. The story she got from Mom Dukes was totally wrong. Desmond's mom was under the impression that he was coming out, when in fact Rocco ordered Desmond to call his mom, so she wouldn't question the reason he needed so much money. Desmond was being extorted the entire time. And as bad as she felt for him, she still couldn't respect him for it, putting her life in danger a second time to fulfill another man's needs, willing to risk them never getting their kids back. She hung up the phone, blocking his number again. Now she spent most of the night crying until she fell asleep. The next morning, she got a notification from Cash App that she was banned for suspicion of fraud. She had close to $3K left in that account, and it would be a lie to say she wasn't pissed, because she received that amount of money in such a short span in a matter of weeks without a label saying what it was for or where it's coming from. Cash App flagged her account. There was a process to go through to get her money back, but she felt it wasn't worth the can of worms that it could open. She tried making a new one, but couldn't. She tried making one with a new email, still couldn't. She even used a different phone, but she was locked out of Cash App indefinitely. But she let go and was just grateful she moved most of it before they took all of it. Now months will pass. It's about a year and a half since she's been released, and she would eventually gain custody of her kids again. They asked about their father, but she gave them the half truth, that he was locked up, nothing more, nothing less. Her mother would call her every time Desmond sent her a letter, but each time she says to throw it away. She thought maybe she was wrong for not keeping in contact for their kids' sake, but in her mind, he could care less. Even when they reconnected, he never asked how the kids were doing. Can I talk to the kids? Is there a way you can bring them up here? He never once spoke their names. It is 5 years after her incarceration, and Megan was doing great for herself, opening a transportation business for the elderly, which was fitting consider her previous occupation. And she also was engaged to be married a week from that day. Her kids are both teenagers, and life couldn't be better. As the children made their way out the door to school, she prepared breakfast for her fiance, who was gearing up for work, a lawyer who just picked up a lawsuit case from a new client. He comes down, draped in a full suit, adjusting his cufflinks. By the time he hit the ground floor, the doorbell rang. He yelled out, "Hey, I got it," and opens the door. He didn't know who this guy was, so he asks what could he do for him. "Who you looking for?" "Megan. I'm looking for Megan." Confused, he calls out to Megan, asking her did she know this guy. She walks in. It's Desmond. "Yeah, I got out. Early release." "Where the fuck my kids at?" I want to send a shout out to somebody I spoke today. Big Beezy. What up, my boy? Man, congrats on that new job. Do your work your hours, the drama, get your check, go home, and make sure that little one's smiling every single day. As long as you know where this 9 to 5 gonna take you, that's all that matter, my guy. That's all that matter. And shout out Bill Feezy for always supporting your boy, always supporting the channel, and just for being a solid soul. You know what I'm saying? Just straight to the point, a solid mother. The message I want to leave with y'all today is this. It only take one time to get it wrong, to be the wrong person, and you out of here. You lose everything, you ruin your life. But you can try to be good 1,000,000 times over. Do the right thing 1,000,000 times over. You can be right 1,000,000 times over, but it only take one time to do the wrong thing. If you put them choices beside each other, you put the odds beside each other, it's very easy to pick. Yeah, I done got away a few times doing the wrong thing, but it's that one time you hesitate. It's that one time you don't look behind your shoulder. It's that one time you don't check the rear view mirror. The one time you didn't think that situation at the club wasn't that serious. It's that one time, bro. But you can be right 1,000,000 times over, bro. You can be good 1,000,000 times over. You can do the right thing 1,000,000 times over. Don't let the naive woman tell y'all men 9 to 5ers are lame. It's called a stepping stone. It's not forever. If you want to be a 9 to 5er for life, hey, that's your choice. But there's better for you. In order to get there, you have to start somewhere. You gotta know how to be a follower before you become a leader. You gotta know how to listen before you expect anybody to hear you speak. Make the right choices, man. You make the right choices, the people around you make the right choices. The people around you making right choices, the people around them making right choices, and the people around them making right choices can possibly make the world make the right choices. And that's how I look at it, and that's how I hope it to be one day. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay positive, y'all stay sober. If you ain't moving, you losing, my boy, and we out. Call me, D. Hustler talk, no comment though, just paper chase. Chasing my dreams, my nightmares ain't got no money, just a cardboard sign and they existing so bummy. And they want